Is, or should I say, ACL's coverage of the Oceanic Open Ladder. My name is Jake Hysterix, Aussie Panko, and of course with me is Nathan Mendrix Mendez. And after a whopping couple of games, that's right, Mendrix, a whopping couple of games, we're going to jump into one of the semi-finals, I like to call it. Moving on to that grand final, the winners bracket. Of course, we've got Legacy versus Team Passionfruit, and Team Passionfruit are pretty huge.
Yeah, they are pretty huge, and they're definitely pretty passionate.
Oh, yeah.
But both of these teams are powerhouses in their own rights. Passionfruit came through from the last time, and they had an amazing performance, and they're definitely showing it through now. Legacy, definitely not to count them out. They are part of they have definitely involved heavily in the pro scene themselves. So these two teams are definitely going to give us a great show coming on through.
Now, of course, we got in the Legacy Genesis side, we've got a lot of subs who have had a chance at the Pro League before, but of course they're not actively playing, so there could be a fallout there. But Team Passionfruit, we saw this a fortnight ago. They are so good at maintaining their farm, capitalizing on mistakes that, couldn't even see by the naked eye. And it's just small little mistakes like that that could ruin the game for Legacy Genesis. Coming into this game, do you think Legacy Genesis have what it takes to maybe minimize those capital mistakes?
Definitely. Legacy are one of those teams that are very fleshed and ironed out, pretty much even if they are considered to be a sub-team. These players know how to avoid mistakes being made. If there's going to be any mistakes, it'll be on the team front. Maybe not that much synergy going through between the ADC or between the jungler and the mid laner, or the ADC and the support. So that's one of those things that you're going to be looking for.
Yeah.
And really, Team Passionfruit will have their work cut out for them when they go into this team.
And of course, we thought they were a mystery team coming into this competition before. Now, looking at it now, of course, you can't see that. You can definitely not say that. They've been top contenders for a couple of weeks. And going up against Legacy Genesis, a team that is so compromised that it's not even funny anymore. What are you going to do against Team Passionfruit, who can farm well and sustain till that middle to late game stage?
What Team Legacy showed in their last game is they really had the potential to turn around your mistakes as well. So they had these situations where they thought they looked like they were caught out, but that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. They basically went through, had some baits. They had people tunneling onto their tanky supports, onto their tanks, and then there was just cleanup crews happening by their main carries, which their Fizz just went through. He was huge, in destroying everyone else.
We need to ban that Fizz. What have we been talking about the past couple of weeks? Has anybody been listening? Ban the Fizz. It doesn't matter if Triple Cheese is playing it. Doesn't matter if you've got anyone else playing it. Fizz in this sort of, going onto the pro scene, but not quite there. You've got these solo queue players who are just so good at being the hyper carry Fizz. Why is he not banned?
Because at the end of the day, he doesn't really bring too much to a team fight. All he really has is, except death. But he has that really good engage, which is he's chum the waters. If that misses, well, then he's just going to have to Playful Trickster in, and if he does that, he's going to die most likely.
Which still does a lot of damage. Of course, the Playful Trickster, its range ages and ages ago got nerfed a little bit. Remember, the splash used to do so much wider radius, and of course, the damage and the cooldown of that got nerfed, but he's still so relevant in this day and age. Being in patch 5.10, he hasn't had any changes to him for a long time, so I can see why he's being relevant, but I know we've talked about this before, but Sejuani in 5.10 not being seen as much. Is there a reason?
She was just recently nerfed. They did a massive chunk of damage, or took off a massive chunk of damage of her percentage health from pretty much a lot of her abilities. On top of that, with the nerf from Cinderhulk as well, she's not as potent as she used to be. The reason you still bring her to the fight is that massive tanky potential that she has, and also the fact that she has that Glacial Prism that can lock up a whole team.
But she used to be a huge powerhouse, along with the damage potential of Udyr in the early game, I'd like to say, maybe level 1 to 6. She had so much damage, and she was so tanky at the same time that people were scared to, invade or do anything about her early game. Now that her damage is down, do you think maybe it's not as safe a pick as someone thought?
Well, yeah, in that situation, it could be to agree. She might fall victim to some of the more aggressive junglers like Lee Sin, like Rek'Sai. That's definitely a possibility.
And Rek'Sai is so popular at the moment.
Yeah, he's very popular. He's probably on the same level, if not better than Sejuani.
Yeah, look, I mean, Rek'Sai has so much mobility throughout that jungle. You can tell how well a team's doing, or how well the Rek'Sai is doing, in fact, by the line of scrimmage, as you like to call it, the line of scrimmage of his tunnels.
Yes.
Now, if it's past the river, you know that the Rek'Sai's doing some invading work there.
Oh, he's definitely doing a lot of invading work. And not only that, those secret tunnels are fantastic for, surprise ganks coming on through. He's just such a slippery character. Once he gets into that certain area, he'll be able to pull off ganks from areas you didn't even really know were possible, because he'll just go through and that actually extends the length of the tunnel because he's going through under the terrain that's trying to block off people from doing those long flashes.
And you've noticed, I mean, Rek'Sai's not the only one you need to keep an eye out for. So we'll probably be seeing a ban as when we do move into the champion select. But another ban I think we'll have to look at is Sivir. The past couple of games, we've seen some detrimental Sivers. How dangerous is she at the moment?
She's a very dangerous champion. She provides so much utility for her team. That's why she's such a contested pick in both the competitive games and even in solo queue. The fact that she brings the On the Hunt, which is a massive speed up for the whole team, not only herself, it acts as a disengage and an engage. And then to top it all off, she's got a spell shield which gives her back mana. So all these really hard, tanky, engage champions that are in the meta at the moment can't do much against her. They jump onto her.
And there's wave clear there as well.
Plenty of wave
Think
clear.
about it. You could be behind, and as long as you got some damage with the BF Sword or, of course, the Infinity Edge, you've got a lot of wave clears. We do move into Champion Select. Legacy versus Team Passionfruit. This is the crucial game to get into that grand final. They get this. They get into that slanted best of 3 or best of 5, sorry, for the grand final. Depends on what we go for there, but... Legacy, a favourite team to win so far, but Team Passionfruit, you can't rule them out. They're playing so strong at the moment. Band champions, for some reason, Teemo. Tito gone.
I mean, no one likes Teemo.
No one likes Teemo.
Sorry, Teemo memes, but no one likes Teemo.
Ever.
Sometimes I even hear Teemo memes saying, "No, I don't really like the champion as well. He's just, I'm just a glutton for punishment."
It's a lazy day out. So Teemo's been taken off. Cassiopeia in retrospect as well. She has been nerfed this patch, as you were saying before with Rogi. There's been some nerfs that have come through, but Cassiopeia is still strong with that damage per second. Alistair getting taken out, his tankiness, it's just off the charts.
Pretty much. With those two champions, or with Alistair in particular, he's been seen in both the games we have actually just commentated on before. Oh. He is still a very top contested pick as well. Yep. As Rogi also mentioned, he's actually considered a tier 1 support at the moment. But...
oh no!
Seem to hit a little bit of a disconnection.
Somebody forgot to pick a champion. Now, when I do that, I have that 5-minute break. I think about it and I go, maybe things didn't work out as planned. So hopefully we can see what's going on there. But look, something I do want to talk about. I was going to say Rogi, but everyone's saying Rogi these days. It's like the famous caster in this studio. Yeah. That guy, what a sweetheart. Anyway, coming back to the point, Sejuani is what we've talked about. A really impressive jungler. Rek'Sai as well. Gragas now with these nerfs, with his body slam width going down, do you think it makes much of a difference?
No, it doesn't. He's still a fantastic jungler. He still has everything that he had before. It's just he's lost a bit of kilos. That's basically what's happened.
You wanted to work that in so badly.
I needed to work that in so badly. But with Gragas, he's still, it's just about being more on point.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, buffs and nerfs, as Freak used to notoriously say, when he was talking about the patches, to separate the good Gragases between the great Gragases.
It's a skill cap, and that's a really good point. Raising the skill bar for someone who plays Gragas, because at the moment he's so incredibly easy. You land a explosive cask, in the right direction. That's the only real skill shot that matters for Gragas. His ultimate is game-changing, teamfight changing, and even with small engages, changes between a kill and maybe just just a bit of extra damage on someone. So that's the only part, but Gragas adding his skill cap just a little bit, I think it's going to show a bit more impressive plays coming out.
Yeah, it definitely will, because it also allows him to sort of, how can I put this, thread the needle between minions. So it's kind of annoying when you're trying to engage with Gragas and you hit a minion mid-hit when you're trying to actually get towards the champion. This actually allows you to do that.
Yeah, and look, I mean, he's not the only jungler played at the moment. We saw a Lee Sin in the game before. Although it was a bit of a whitewash coming through, wasn't the game we wanted to see. But Lee Sin, popularity coming back in, you think?
It's quite possible. With the changes to Cinderhulk, Warrior is still pretty much considered to be even now.
Yeah.
And the main reasons why all, junglers like Lee Sin and, say, Kha'Zix and all these other Warrior enchant type champions.
Kha'Zix?
Oh, Kha'Zix,
You think Kha'Zix is coming back in?
Not yet. Probably
someday.
Someday.
His health in the jungle, now this is what I don't like. His health early is so low that you clear 3 camps and you're either dead or you're dying pretty quickly.
Yeah, but then you go back and then you gank and you snowball.
But the chances of dying are 50-50 in my opinion at that 3rd camp.
Oh, it depends. I mean, if you've got good camp control, you're fine.
I don't know how it is in Diamond, all right? I don't know how it is over there, but I think they're trying to fix some issues. in the game for the time being. Looks like we will be getting back into there. Some roster difficulties or technical difficulties, as I like to call it. That's all right. We'll slowly move into it soon. I got a big smile on my face because this is a game I've been waiting for all day, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, Mendrix, on this Legacy versus Team Passionfruit. It's going to be a big one, and something I need to point out is a really crucial player. Pac-Man. He's huge. He was This is what we were talking about before. He's devastating to the laning phase. He just bullies his lane opponent so badly that there's no mid-game for them.
Well, that's what he did in the last game against Miss Fish. He went the Frozen Mallet, which is a build that's all about, I'm going to win lane.
Yeah.
And it's really detrimental to Nah if he doesn't. So he's just, the confidence coming through from Pac-Man.
And that's a comfort pick as well.
It is a comfort pick, yeah.
The Nah for him is so well regulated that he knows exactly what he's doing every part of that game. The Frozen Mallet, it wasn't for himself, it was for his team. He got so many kills because of that Frozen Mallet slow, and of course that third hit for his passive. He's passive on his W, I believe. That just got so many kills for his team.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that makes him really strong is the fact that he's a range harasser with the ability to tank everything. And it's all about timing yourself when you have that Mega Nah up. And if you manage to get into the team fight with everything up, and you do manage to land those massive wall-crunching ultimates where he throws everyone against the wall, which he did a single time, especially in that Dragon Pit, which was a big dragon.
And in the Baron Pit as well, I think he sort of went to Mega Nahs, and he changes the face of that team fight. When the other team thought they were getting something, when Abyss actually thought they were getting a pick, Nah comes in on minimal health, turns into Mega Nah because of his Mega Nah bar, and just turns the tide of that team fight.
And that's why he's a pick. That's why Sejuani's a picked. It's because they're actually able to turn things around. And it's you know, he sort of has made a rise. He's sort of fallen off again with the amount of picks that in competitive play.
Yeah.
But he's still something you have to watch out for, especially with all, Hecarim's getting banned out, and then next thing you know, they've banned out the Gragas as well, and you're losing all these tanks out there. Well, you know what? Let's just get this Naya in there. He's still very effective as well.
And it looks like we're jumping into Champion Select for the second time. Let's try this again, ladies and gentlemen. Teemo gets banned as a first pick. Cassiopeia, we didn't see this coming. We're looking for the Alistair. This is what we're expecting. Will it happen again? Will we see Alistair banned? Yes, there it is. It's like I can read minds. Kalista is the fourth man, very predominantly picked there. No Kalista for Ryan.
Yeah, unfortunately for him there. April Ryan performed amazingly last time we saw him on the Kalista. But Kalista is one of those things, she's just such the queen. She's the queen of ADCs at the moment. If there's anyone else better than Sivir, it'd be Kalista.
And we remember last fortnight, we saw Rainy on the Kalista 1 or 2 times. And he had so much efficiency with that champion that it's a bit of a surprise that they banned that away from him. The third ban gets picked as Nautilus, and Chow Mein cannot get one of his comfort picks.
Unfortunately for him, Nautilus the supporter list is such a strong champion at the moment. Generally, if there's a bans happening, but there has been a Rise pick. Here's what we were talking about before. He's been recently buffed. There's been a lot of pro players taking him out onto the Rift at the moment. Let's see what Pac-Man can do.
And the international scene has been no friend to the Rise at the moment, showing that he's strong but not able to sort of finish off those team fights. We do see Rek'Sai getting picked instantly like that. The comfort pick again, it's my favorite word. Kotori loves his Rek'Sai. Whether it's a Vi or a Rek'Sai, these heavy initiating champions, these early ganking champions, Rek'Sai fits the pick perfectly. And with no Azir on the enemy team to sort of slow and deal the damage against these tanks, great pick.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Hanaka picked it. I mean, Kotori was picking as well at the same time. He could have easily picked his own champion, and Hanaka could have picked up Najana.
Strategy.
But I guess, it's maybe just, just sort of psych out Legacy. Like, yeah, maybe maybe it's a top Rek'Sai. Think about that for a second.
Oh, here we go. Talk about international scene. The top Rek'Sai in the Chinese division is going strong at the moment. Even the LCK, I believe, has tried it. So if we see a top Rek'Sai, that's going to be the debut for the Oceanic Open Ladder, and couldn't have been a better place to debut it. Janna gets locked in as a support, and another comfort pick for Chow Mein.
Yeah, Janna is a fantastic champion. Again, as I've mentioned many times before, she is the queen of disengage. It'll be interesting to see how Legacy decides to build their team comp around that, because the moment you see a Janna get picked so early, you kind of figure, well, do we still want to go for this hard engage? Because it might not work out for us. But Legacy's like, yeah, Janna, who cares? We're still going hard engage.
And the Gragas barrel, remember, can interrupt that Janna's Monsoon. I believe the ultimate is named. And so aptly named because the Monsoon is going to disengage itself if Gragas can get that explosive cast on there, and Siva's just going to lay down the damage. Arteezy picks the Siva, and Ryan could not be happier.
Yes, Arteezy's very also good with the Siva, who he played fantastically in the last game. But actually, no, he was Fizz. What am I saying? Same. April Ryan played fantastically against Siva, but Rainy's looking to hover that Vayne.
And the Vayne with a nice hover. A lot of skill needed to pull it off successfully. Nah, also a suggestive pick. I think they will stick with the Jinx though, Mendrix, and the Nah up in the top lane looks like more of an eventual reality with no Azir and no real mid-game carries coming out for both teams at the moment. Probably going to see last person pick the mid laners.
Yeah, and with those mid laners also coming through at the very end, that kind of just shows who they believe to be the powerhouses in the team. They don't want their mid laners being counterpicked, but unfortunately for April Ryan, this is going to be the situation. Is that a Yasuo?
We wish. I don't think that's going to be the case, but Yasuo or maybe Varus in the mid lane. Even again, the international scene has proven Varus is a powerhouse in that mid lane. I can't remember who it was, but in the mid, he just does so much damage. He has so much lane opportunity. The width, did that get buffed or nerfed recently?
The width on the ultimate was buffed.
On the ultimate, what about the Q?
The Q, I believe, has remained unchanged.
Oh, well.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's been unchanged.
But the mid lane, of course, not that big of a lane, so the Q is probably going to hit 9 times out of 10. Varus being a solid pick, they're looking for their support now as well. Nami hasn't had much of an impact on the open ladder just yet. Why is that, Mendrix?
Well, Nami's a very strong champion in her own right. She's got fantastic engage, disengage with her wave, but unfortunately in that situation, it looks like Nada's not going to go for the Nami, he's going to go for the Thresh. It's possible he can pick it up later, but is April Ryan going for it? Yeah, that's a Zed locked in.
That's the Zed locked in for Arteezy with a Thresh down in the bottom lane. They're now looking for their mid laner, which is Karma. I think Xiaomane did this last time as well. Definitely a favorite pick of his. Obviously not the Rek'Sai in the mid lane, but it is the Karma. The second time he's played this, and no less than the first time he played it was against a Zed as well.
So he's definitely taking advantage of the poke that Xiaomane has there. Xiaomane did very well, but there have been changes that have happened for her. So now her match was a bit different. She gets a little
better
bit more
or worse?
burst. It's more skill cap.
Yeah.
More skill cap. If you can pull it off, she'll do more damage. If you need her to be more tanky, she can max the shield, which is more effective as support. So all the changes also affected her AP ratio, so it should be a buff all round. But the way they hit her kind of made it that you kind of have to choose between defense and offense. You can't have a mixture of both, which is what she had previously.
And I mean, Karma isn't that well played in the competitive scene. You don't see her coming out with force. So this is going to be interesting. Second time around for Xiaomane to pick that Karma, and second time versing a Zed. So the win rate before was quite nice. I believe they did actually trump over that Zed, who couldn't deal with the damage coming out from that Karma early. What's going to happen this time? Is it just going to be a rinse and repeat or what?
Well, hopefully that's what Xiaomane's going for, that it will be a rinse and repeat. He hopes. Zed is, at the end of the day, it's all about positioning. If you can outposition the Karma's poke, he won't take that much damage, and then he should slowly chip her down both in mana and HP by throwing out those shurikens of his.
Yeah, and I mean, Zed does so much damage pre-6, and when he gets to that 6th stage, it just trumps all on top of that death mark. And Zed in the middle lane, we haven't seen Arteezy on the Zed just yet. You said he played Fizz last game, I believe.
Yes.
And that was a powerhouse from what we saw. Fizz just trumps over any mid lane who can't defend themselves early. Can Zed really do the same thing as Fizz? I don't think so, Mendrix.
Well,
don't doubt Zed, apparently.
I don't want to doubt Zed. I really don't want to doubt Zed at the moment. He is versing Karma, who is very squishy in her own right. She has a lot of movement speed and mobility in herself when she can speed herself up, so it's going to be hard for him to get on her. But the moment he hits level 6, it won't be as potent as Fizz early, but level 6, he is just as potent as Fizz once he gets to that point.
And everyone's just as potent as Fizz when it comes down to it. We see the Rise in the top lane versus the Nah, a matchup we don't normally see. Who wins the early game, or the pre-6, I should say?
You know what? That's pretty hard to say. Both of them have a pretty slow ramp up. I'd say Nah wins early because he has the ability to harass with his mini Hyper-Nah. When that comes on through, that gives him the percentage damage as well. But Rise being a mid-range caster actually has the ability to hit him from the same range as well.
Yeah.
So they should be trading out fairly evenly. But at the end of the day, the scaler always goes to Rise. Rise outscales the moment he has all his mana items in place.
Yeah, and Rise's scaling, of course, has been slowed down a little bit by the rework that was done to him a while back, but he's still as big as powerhouse as ever. So, really, Rise, will he be carrying this late game, do you think, if it goes to that?
It's very possible. They have a very tanky, well, not really a tanky side. You've got the Rek'Sai and the Gnar. So those two there, he has ability or the capability to melt tanks in that situation because he has such consistent damage. He's almost like he's a many mana AP ADC himself, just throwing out all those
everything
casts
in one,
all at once. Yeah, it's just like Q, W, E, Q, E, W. And next thing you know, and with all those cooldowns towards that late game, it just goes out as fast as possible. And that's going to proc his passive even more and more.
I think we should really focus on the team compositions here now. We've looked at individuals, the Gragas versus the Rek'Sai, of course. Always a pretty tight matchup, depending on who makes the biggest mistake and when, I think is really how they capitalize on it. We look at the bot lane with the Sivir versus the Jinx. Who's going to benefit their team composition more? Let's say they're both fed with the same attributes at the same time. Who scales better into that late game?
Jinx scales better into late game purely because she has the rockets and that extra range advantage when it gets late. Sivir needs to get up in personal to really deal the damage. She may have her boomerang blade, but when you have a long range auto attack that Jinx has in the late game, that is huge because you can't really get onto her. Both of them in their own rights are sort of immobile ADCs. One needs to use Pop on the hunt to really catch who they want. Jinx has the capability to get excited. Really, when it comes to team fight potential, there's more utility on the side of Sivir to really start a fight.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to positioning, if someone is better in positioning and in terms of Jinx is the better positioner, they should come out on top.
And I think, of course, Jinx has always been a really good late scaling AD carry. But do you think it was a better decision for Chow Mine? He picked maybe the better thing for the Sivir itself. The Janna pick instead of the Thresh. Do you think the Thresh will probably benefit that team composition a little bit more? Of course, the Monsoon does a lot of work, but the box, you just can't disrupt that.
You really can't disrupt the box once it goes out, and it just slows everyone so much. Of course, they made a little nerf to it before where now the first person that hits it takes the damage, which really isn't that big. It's all about the utility for Thresh in that situation anyway. But really, it's good because they have such a hard engaged team. If you land a death sentence, there should be death coming through.
And I think, of course, in the jungle is probably going to be the best time to start, or the best place, I should say, to start that jungle fight, as we will move into the game very shortly. But the Rek'Sai in the jungle has so much mobility. We talked about this before. His tunnels across the map are huge. Where it is, position lining is what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it position lining for the Rek'Sai tunnels. Where it is really defines how well the team's going. And I think Rek'Sai's going to play a big part in this mid lane.
Oh, he definitely will. Once, especially with the Gragas as well. Gragas is definitely going to try and make something happen with these sort of two squishy, assassin-y sort of laners. I know there's a mage, but to be honest, when you get to that empowered mantra coming through from the Karma, it is just so much damage. So either A1, what is basically who makes or pulls the trigger first in that mid lane. It'll be Wild Wild West for the junglers.
And the mid lane, definitely a point of concern. We're going to have to keep an eye on that one as we move into Legacy versus Team Passionfruit. Legacy on the blue side, Passionfruit on the red. And it looks like they're trying to rotate for positioning. Nada's looking for something as well. Good warding by the Karma to just solve anything coming their way.
Yeah, just a nice little ward there put down. You can really see what's happening there, but if anyone decides to come from behind, next thing you know, there's a quick flash hook that just catches you off guard. She's basically covering all her base as well. What Arteezy's doing the same thing, just putting it on the far end there, but he's going to cop an auto attack for it.
Yeah, damage coming from Karma. Auto attack too strong at the moment, I think. And he pops another one out to Nada, who just takes a Q to the face. Karma's early game damage, I think, is one of the best AP carries, in my opinion.
Yeah, because she can have a mantra straight away at level 1. That's why she's so potent.
Does it use mana?
Yes, yeah.
Does it? How
yes,
much, if you know?
I do not know off the top of my head, but I know that it is available straight away from the level 1.
Okay. Nah, taunting the wolves until they come up. Looks like it's going to be pretty standard lanes coming through, I think. Janna waiting there in the middle of the brush. Rek'Sai going to help the Gnar start off at the wolves, I think, or get him himself. Both teams very experienced in the open ladder, so they definitely know what they're doing. We've phased out any teams who can't handle the pressure, and it's going to be an intense game we have to watch, especially since Legacy Genesis did so well last week. I think they actually took it out in the end. They took out the game. Avant Garde Academy just couldn't deal with the damage power coming through from Legacy. Let's see if they can do that again, Mendrix.
Yeah, well, Legacy, again, are the town favorites. Team Passionfruit is a powerhouse in themselves, but again, they have their work cut out for them versus Legacy. Legacy is just such a well-rounded team. Nada's just there going through Xiaoman. He's going in for it.
He's got his flay first, so the damage is going to come out from the auto attacks. Ryan takes a couple of hits himself, and they're showing that they want first blood. Impaired is going to get invaded by the Rek'Sai, and he's there looking for it. A flash comes out from Gragas, but in the mid lane, Arteezy takes a lot of damage. Damage across the board. A flash force from Gragas.
Well, both of them flashed at the same time as well. So flash, Chief Impaired getting away. There's a bit of an advantage for Rek'Sai in that situation that he thought he could actually get the red buff, but he's getting a bit of support by Thresh coming on through, but he's moving back in again. He might try to steal it.
Rek'Sai is looking for a tunnel. I think he's level 2 now, so he may have it. Looking for Chief Impaired. Nada's there, but Xiaoman is adding a bit of pressure as well. The body slam comes over to save him. Nada has the flay to slow it down. Are we looking at first blood here? The flash gets popped and so much intensity coming through.
Yeah, he's doing a great job forcing all these flashes out as Pac-Man takes a lot of damage out of Honaka.
The rise is huge, but he goes into Mega Gnar. That's going to give him a bit of health back as well as a bit of pressure to retaliate in that top lane.
Yeah, Rek'Sai is now just a little bit behind as well. He's 3 to 5 at the moment. He's just sitting around just being a big bully towards that Gragas, unfortunately for him. But now he has to back off, see if he can actually pick up some of his buffs, because Gragas will have his double buff, while Rek'Sai, he's going in. He looks like he wants to go for that bottom lane.
He has wasted a bit of time not getting his red buff still up at the timing. I think his blue buff is still up as well. So he's wasted a bit of time getting his buffs. The farm advantage going towards Gragas by a whole camp. So that is definitely something you got to look at. Rise in the top lane ahead by 6 CS. Obviously pushing that Gnar out. He's going for a Doran's shield first. You normally see a mana crystal coming out for Rise. Not Doran's shield, Doran's ring. Is that something we're seeing these days?
The reason why he's gone for it is because the AP scaling on Rise after the rework was actually a bit effective, but Arteezy's in trouble.
Oh, the damage coming out. Karma's not going to get it this time, but that's going to be enough to push Zed back, and he's going to have to back off and lose a couple of waves.
Yeah, and that's going to be very good for Xiaoman. Really, you want to force him out. He's still not finished. He managed a good one on him.
Slowing down the Zed, absolutely beautiful. Going to keep Zed in lane for a bit longer. He's going to have to beat, and he's just wasted 20 seconds, which is an extra wave for Karma.
Yeah, that's really good. He's up in CS now, soon to be wasted. Probably she lost a little bit of CS trying to horse it out. The hook lands on Rainy.
The death sentence is beautifully timed. Rainy doesn't take the flay, but Chief Impaired, of course, does. Chow Mein, really nice to sort of help Rainy in that situation. And the bottom lane looking even more, I was going to say happy. That's not even English. It's looking happier for the blue side.
Yeah, now that they've got that set up for them as well, April Ryan should be taking the advantage. Civic is the stronger laner early. Jinx will scale better, but at this point in time, with that Boomerang Bag, with that Ricochet, there is just so much wave clear, as you mentioned before. Hanaka's about to turn into Mega Gnar. Will he go in?
Oh, yeah, of course he will, because Connery is there. Pac-Man has to force a flash. The Rise is taking too much damage. They give it to the Rek'Sai, who reaches level 5. Impaired is up here as well, but the first blood, so well played.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do as a jungler, but there's still more action happening. They threw that, well, this is a little bit of a tornado. Just
the Howling Gale, of course, coming through to disengage. Well timed by Xiaoman. Team Passionfruit still looking strong in this bot lane, although being pressured out by Legacy.
Yeah, Hanaka hanging around a little bit there. He's not going to take too much advantage of the fact that there was a teleport happening there. So really well done by Team Passionfruit to sort of exert some dominance down that bottom lane as well. But going back to Rise, the reason why he gets that Doran ring so early is because he has better AP scaling. That's the big thing about it. Oh, Arteezy still trying to get onto him, but he's just going to use the shadow to get away.
The thing with this this Rise getting more AP scaling, of course, he's all about the late game, as you said. And if you get a Rise that's, you know, working towards his late game before the game's even started, he's going to be a powerhouse.
He's definitely going to be a powerhouse, but the AP scaling on the ring is better for him early, which is why he needs that. That gives him that a little bit more bully potential, which is what he had before. Flash by onto Arteezy, doesn't really get it.
Maybe a wasted flash there. Of course, Karma doesn't have that burst potential until getting a couple of kills under her belt. Xiaoman in the middle lane, he's pushed out pretty far. Gragas is waiting for an opportunity. Arteezy still has his ult, and there's no mantra for Karma just yet. Gragas wasting a bit of time.
Yeah, just a bit of time there. Arteezy playing a very careful back. He thought Xiaomei might go just to push in a little bit more for another poke, but very careful. But Rise is there too.
Rise has come for a bit of a roam. Gets the stun under the turret. Pac-Man does have his ult, but not enough damage. Zed comes straight back in with the Death Mark Ignite. He's going to take a kill himself, and it's a 1-for-1 trade, which Xiaomei's really going to benefit from.
Yeah, that was really well done by Xiaomei to make sure he could get it. That was one of the weaknesses of Zed there. He needs to stay there for that 1 second now when he does use his Death Mark. He's not able to get in, pop the Death Mark, throw the ult, throw his Ignite, and get out as fast as possible. But Nah goes on to Rise yet again.
Oh, Pac-Man doesn't have that much mana to expel. Hanoka uses his ult in the top lane. The damage is getting pulverized out to Pac-Man. That Q damage is rigged at the moment. Pac-Man is trying to stun him under turret. Beautiful dodge, but he doesn't have enough mana. It's going to be zilch.
Yeah, and at this point now, it's kind of bad for Rise. He doesn't have enough mana to really do that. He wasted all of his time for that roam in the mid lane as the Jinx Rocket goes on through and just misses.
Man, that Super Mega Death Rocket could have picked up an easy kill on Pac-Man, but unfortunately, aimed at the turret. Cottery's probably going to pick this one up anyway. As the stun goes under the turret, Pac-Man's trying to outplay this. Hanoka takes a couple of hits, and that's going to be his second kill of the game as Ryan engages on the Janna, who's so squishy. Impaired looks for something, trying to get him into his turret, but Nah is still there. Impaired may have played this one a bit too close to the turret. The turret is not aiming at Cottery just yet. So much blood across the map. We don't know what's going up top, but it looks like that disengages. Arteezy takes the Ignite. Looking for the Q is Xiaomei. He does get the final auto, picks up the kill. The Death Sentence misses, but a flash comes in with a flay as well. The damage not enough because of the hill. Ryan doesn't have enough mana. Rainy is still engaging on this. The box has been hit, but Ryan looking for more damage. The Rocket, not enough mana to finish it off. And only one kill across the board, but so many things wasted.
So many cooldowns are down on the map now. Heals, exhausts, flashes, everything is down, and only one person has fallen so far. Even though the score may be 4 in Team Passionfruit's favor at the moment, there was just so much action, but not enough reward.
Passionfruit looking so strong. 13.6k gold with 11.7k, and that's a 2k gold advantage. Big Gragas gonna slap his way back to the Nexus, pick up the Cinderhulk, which is gonna make his jungling so much easier in comparison to the Rek'Sai. He doesn't have his Cinderhulk just yet.
No, not just yet. And that's basically because he was able to farm a lot more as well. Rek'Sai may have picked up a lot of assists on the map, and he's actually managed to even out some minion farm there, but that's because he goes in on Nada.
Nada doesn't have his box, remember, so he's going to get the Death Sentence and hope that's enough. The Zed is in there looking for something, but beautifully timed by Xiaomei. The Rocket comes through, doesn't do anything, but they don't need it to at the moment. Arteezy does have enough energy. He goes in with his ult, looking for Cottery, but the Monsoon comes out from the Janna, the explosive cast from Gragas. Xiaomei is now the focus of the targeting. The body slam comes in. Doesn't look like the width affect him too much, and they're just going to pick the one kill, and Team Passionfruit are really capitalizing like we talked about.
Yeah, and there we go. Chief and Pet trying to get back into the fight. Corduroy and Nara on pursuit onto Rise. Rise is just going to walk away.
And the rest of the team are up here looking for the Gragas to follow, but a Howlingale disengages him, keeps him off, and tells him what's what. Something I want to pull out for you is that the Rise maxing the W stun.
So yeah, I'm not too sure why. I think most of them have been maxing the E at the moment, or the Q, one of those two, because of the new changes that have come through after 5.10. The W does do a lot of single damage, but April Ryan's going really hard onto Rainy.
Oh my god, they're trading off really well, but Xiaomei is coming here for a bit of support. The mana is back with a nice spell shield, and these 80 carries look for blood.
Yeah, these guys, they're not about farming. They just want to fight right now. Hanaka goes in.
And the Rise looks for a bit of damage. He's on the other side of the turret. He's taking too many turret shots here. The ult comes through, but his damage against Pac-Man is so huge. He's going to have the stun up soon, but he doesn't. The minion wave's coming through, and both carries looking for something as a Death Sentence lands. The box is down with a combination of the flay. Traps the set, but a spell shield by Sivir makes short work of that. Looking for something is Nada to help. The shield comes through from the Janna, and these engages just make you stand on your feet and shout Mary.
My, oh my, that was a fantastic spell shield by April Ryan right there in that situation. She went right on in for it after Nada. No hesitation. Nada lands the Death Sentence. Let's go for this. very well done by Team Passionfruit in that bottom lane to disengage that fight and escape dying.
It doesn't matter that Passionfruit are 4 kills ahead of Legacy. Even though the gold lead is developing to 2.7k, we still see Legacy so strong. They're positioning fantastic at the moment. So they're definitely not out of this game. You can't count them out. You definitely can't count them out. I'll say it 3 times. That's how important it is.
Yeah, you know, you can't
count
them out. These guys have been playing for a while, and they have been playing competitively for a while as well. And let's not count it. Let's just keep saying it. You can't count them out.
You definitely can't. Impaired goes on Cottery. A bit of friendly trading coming through. But the explosive cast looks like he really wants to go in for it. Xiaomain is there to help Cottery. The Z ult goes onto Cottery. They really need this kill to secure. The Jinx Rocket hits the Z, which helps Xiaomain. Really nice, but the Rise, so much damage. The maxing of the W is working out. So low cooldown on that. Hanoka doesn't have his Gnar bar full just yet. Pac-Man is taking too much damage, though. It doesn't matter that it's not full. Nada's going to take the passive of Gnar. The slow coming from Janna. Mega Gnar is here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. Hanoka's going to finish it with a Q. And that's a 3-for-2 trade going towards Legacy. Maybe it is a 3-for-3 trade as Ryan looks for the Boomerang Blade on Rainy. Don't think he can escape this one. The extra damage comes through, and it is a 3-for-3 trade.
Didn't we say something about not counting out Legacy? And in that situation, that's really bad for them because that gold also went on to Sivir. Legacy is doing really well now. Also, the shutdown gold, there was also shutdown gold going towards Rise as well. He may be behind, but he's not out, and he will outscale Hanaka the longer this game goes forward.
But Gnar has 4 kills towards his name. Ryan has to pop that on the hunt. Rek'Sai just doing so much damage as a Rek'Sai should. The teleport coming from the Rise who's going to lock him down. It's a 2v2 down bottom. Ryan's not going to turn this one, and he's just going to go straight back to farming.
Yeah, he may have used his heal there in that situation to get out. There was also a teleport burnt as well. Unfortunately for Rise, there is a lot of CS making its way towards that top tower. He did not want to use that teleport then.
But saved Sivir's life.
He saved Sivir's life. They might open up a dragon. Never mind, he's backing. No, he's not. He's trolling me once again.
And Nada going to find this pink ward after going in and out a couple of times. Imped comes in with the flash, and the barrel just a zone of the Drunken Rage is already been popped. Of course, the Thresh using his Dark Passage. Death Sentence landed, ladies and gentlemen. Flay is not needed as Zed just uses the Shuriken, and that's going to be his 2nd kill adding to the list.
And that's Legacy clawing their way back. They still may be 3k behind, but there is no towers on the board, except for that mid tower, sorry. But there is nothing else on the board in terms of dragons. That's something you need to worry about in that regard. And the moment Legacy start picking up towers, that gold lead is going to even up very quickly.
Cottery spotted by a ward for the time being. We still see Gnar on his 4 killing streak. He's gone for the Frozen Mallet, and why shouldn't he, of course, playing with his team. He's got to get something that's going to slow him down. Arteezy, really nice shadow to get rid of Cottery, and the Umbaro doesn't do a thing.
Nah, he's just going to keep on walking away from that situation. He had a little bit more rage, so he's going to heal up just fine. And now he's in that. He sort of has a bit of a tunnel network making its way towards the bottom lane. He really wants to make something happen there, but there seems to be a switcheroo. Sivir's up there now. She picked up that farm, but Gnar's making her way in now.
And Gnar's going to try and engage this Sivir, but the damage from Sivir is actually a lot. Can he do this in Unmega Gnar form? He has the help of Chief Impaired. Gnar may be a bit risky here, looking for the Boomerang, and the shutdown gold bonus desperately needed to go to that Gragas.
Definitely desperately needed to go to that Gragas. Chief Impaired managed to go on through a help of Everine there. She does a lot of damage herself.
Wow. We're getting excited for those rockets.
Very excited for those rockets. But they may have picked up that top lane, and they may have picked up the Rise and the shutdown gold, but the Dragon's gonna fall.
Team Passionfruit. Exactly what we were talking about. My favorite phrase, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Of course, they found an opportunity and they seized it without moment's notice. Gnar is 4 for 1. That was his first death just then. And what can I say? Of course, he's going to scale so well. As well as the Rise, probably not. But with 4 kills, I mean, who isn't going to scale?
Yeah, he has also picked up that Frozen Mallet, or well, that's nice and finished. The next items that he'll be picking up will be going towards helping the team. I mean, like you said before, the Frozen Mallet does help the team, but it helps him more in the lane. It's all about him dominating his lane. And there's still even farm between the two. But now that Rise has picked up his Rod of Ages, he's sort of getting past his power trough. That's going to start building up for him now. And the moment he finishes that tier and he turns it into an Archangel Staff and possibly even a Xerath's Embrace, he's just going to get stronger and stronger.
And Cottery with those tunnels, as we're talking about, the line of scrimmage is still playing pretty safe with the Gragas. he's making his way in the Rek'Sai's jungle quite a lot more than we thought.
Yeah, he's been a big bully as well. He's sort of fallen behind as well now on CS, 57 to 59. He can easily catch that back up. But Corduroy's been doing a lot more around the map in terms of helping out his lanes, whereas Greg's been stealing it. But he goes on Xiaomei.
The body slam comes in, the traps the set, and nothing happens in the end.
He decides just to walk away.
Oh, what an outplay coming from Zed. He goes straight back to his shadow. He's not going to survive this one, but dodges the Gnar ultimate. Meanwhile, down bottom, it's going to turn into a one-for-one trade as Chow Mine gets taken out. A turret for Legacy evens up the score, and the gold lead just shortened drastically.
Now that they're just trading kills at the moment. Now they're going to see if they can take up that top turret as well. But it would be turret for turret, and there you go. Legacy is starting to claw its way back into the league. Don't catch him out. And then that's the case. Rainy's caught out.
The death sentence lands. The flame misses, but the box gets the slow and proves its point. Ryan picks up a kill, and Team Passionfruit looking for a miniature base race happening here.
Yeah, and now that that's been done as well, they're just going to back away, though, from that situation. They're going to look to get some wards in that jungle. They think they might believe the blue buff is up at any time, but in that case, Team Passionfruit says, you know what, we can't get the tower, or we can get the tower, but we'll also get the blue buff.
And Legacy don't actually pick up that bottom turret in the end, so it makes it worthwhile trading a kill for a tier 2 turret. What more pressure do you want?
There's not much more pressure that you do want in that situation. And now Zed is going to go through and push that up. He's going to turn it into that split pushing Zed because there is not many people that can duel him. He is behind, but if you send anyone other than Karma or Gnar, you're going to have a problem. And you really want those two to be in the team.
And Zed so proficient on that champion. RTZ showing that he's got 4 deaths behind him. Of course, the majority of the deaths coming out of his team, but he's still looking so strong with Blade of the Ruined King. Let's have a little bit of a look at the gold advantage for the time being. We see the Gnar looking for an engage. The flash comes out, and just as I say that, doesn't look like we will be looking at it. Karma doing so much damage. Dark Passage helps out the wrong person. Ryan uses the spell shield. Corduroy gets pulled in with a flay, and Honoka takes a bit of excess damage. Nothing happens. Back to the gold bonus.
Back to the gold bonus. So the gold bonus at the moment is roughly about 1,000k gold in the favor of Team Passionfruit. They really wanted to engage there. They managed to pull that flash out of Rise. That's really all they managed to get out of that situation. Fantastic kiting back by Legacy there. Really good use of the spell shoots by Siva. And they managed to get out without having to lose too much.
You see the damage coming out of Karma's mantra with her Q combination just there. The Morella Nomicon, what a great word, is just giving her this huge power spike. With the Seeker's Armor Guard building into that Zhonya's, we're going to see a huge Karma coming out. 121, excuse me, to 130 CS, and we're seeing Rise falling back a bit to the Gnar. It's pretty even across the board, apart from the Siva, who is 30 CS in front.
Yeah, Siva is just a big bully in lane when she's there. Not only is she 30 CS in front, she's also 2-0-2 to 0-2. Corduroy gets caught with that dissonance. Will they continue on?
Doesn't look like they will at this stage. Boomerang Blade just to zone off even more, and it looks like Legacy are looking for a pick around this mid side.
Yeah, Corduroy's just too tanky. Even though they managed to pick him out in that situation, it wasn't like they were going to get too much out of it. And with that wave clear from Xiaomei, there's not much they can really do to siege this tower. They're going to try their best. Zed's looking for the Gnar.
Yeah, Zed is being a bit risky again. He knows he might be able to outplay this one, but is the damage there? He's waiting for Mega Gnar to go down. Nothing's going to happen, and they're just going to keep returning to the farm. As I say that, though, we missed the roam up coming up. Gnar comes in. The death sentence does not hit because of a nice flash by Honoka, and he's going to back off, knowing that 3 members are up top. They're going to do something with this.
Legacy timed that really well. Lada and Chief Impaired trying to get in there to see if they could catch out the Gnar and get him killed again and stop that sort of snowballing that he's got at the moment. But Honoka played a fantastic flash, managed to get out of that situation, and now they used a lot of resources up in that top lane. They wasted a bit of time, and that gave a little bit of time for Team Passionfruit to stabilize and get their waves pushed out a lot everywhere else.
Dragon is coming up in about a minute or so, so they're going to position for this, get the blue buff, make sure it's safe. Don't think Scuttle Crab is up just yet, but they're going to secure that as well, get a bit of vision control.
Yeah, and with that also down the drain there, well, Zed's going down there now. Let's see what Gnar needs to push out his wave. He does have the teleport available for him at the moment, so he can actually sit there and push on through. Rise has swapped down to the bottom lane. He wants to basically live out the rest of his power trough, getting as much free farm as he possibly can, and the next time he comes up against that Rise, he's going to be big.
Pink Ward gets put down, a bit more vision control. We see so many wards popped on this map, which is great. A great level of play being pulled out. Rainy looks for an ambush, but no one's coming on that side. They're all trying to converge in a sandwich-like formation into this Dragon Pit. Little do they know, Team Passionfruit not really around it just yet.
Yeah, they're sort of just trying to set the wards up now. Now it's like cat and mouse game to see if someone gets caught out while they're trying to get vision and control over the dragon area. Nah, up there in the top lane, he's pushing through. He's finished pushing out the lane now. He wants to save his teleport, and he's going to make the long walk on down. But he might pass a ward on his way there. Maybe not. He's walking around the long way.
Is looking for a tunnel opportunity. The Unburrow, of course, has like a 0.5 to 1 second stun. The knock-up is really huge. Impaired pops the Righteous Glory, though, and the Karma has to pop her Zhonya's. The rest of the team's coming in. Don't think it brought enough time. Really nice Mantra Shield keeping her alive, but not long enough. Ryan picks up that kill, and now Pac-Man is in the middle of it. Looks like Team Passionfruit are just destroying this team fight. Or I say that, though, but the damage comes out from Zed. Rainy's going to die. The Janna dies as well, looking for the extra hit. They've turned this around because of the Zed. Nah and Jinx, the only ones alive. Not for long, though, as the Nah takes a crucial hit. About to say that, but he survived. No, he doesn't. Looking for that. Oh, the boomerang blade. And that's going to be an ace. All because Zed knows when to ult.
That was an amazing team fight. It looked as if Team Passionfruit had been caught out. Charmaine was pushed away. She managed to stay alive for so long with all the shields that were going onto her from Janna, from herself. She did a fantastic job. They thought they were about to turn that team fight around, but Zed comes on through, like you said. He's on janitor duty, and then that gave enough time and enough damage for April Ryan to really pull on through and really show up and did a bit of style points with that finishing off with a boomerang blade.
I'm expecting a Super Mega Death Rocket. Unfortunately, my expectations are going to be denied. Jinx doesn't have it for the time being. Used it in that team fight, but Legacy straight back on the forefront. They're 2K, almost 2K. They're 1K gold ahead.
1K gold ahead now that they've managed to pick up that nice team fight in their favor. They also pick up the Dragon, equalizing it there. What did we say before? You can't count them out.
No, you definitely can't. And I think Zed was the deciding flavor in that team fight. Of course, they were doing so much damage in the backline, but taste it, it's there. You can see the Zed. He just brutally annihilated Xiaomane. And Xiaomane was in it long enough to bring his team in, but not long enough to deny that Zed. Yeah,
Zed's really taking Team Passionfruit to next levels that he wants to taste all the different flavors possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, when you have the genesis of Passionfruit, I mean, like, that's the start of the end. You know?
It is the start of the end in that situation.
I haven't even had a Passionfruit in like 2 years, so looking forward to my evening meal tonight as we see Cottery rotating around the bottom line. Here comes the teleport from the Rise, just when you thought they were out of it. Arteezy takes an extra hit, too many, and Pac-Man is now down the bottom looking for another stun. We see the Gragas with the explosive cast. He does find it. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and they're going to back off of this one. It was just an explosion down there.
It was definitely an explosion from there. All the ultimates coming on out. Zed trying to get away with it, but Nada's on the chase.
The flay is there before Nada can get it. Really nice hop gets him out of it. Ryan goes past the traps without any effort. Honoka's Megana not going to do enough. The Mega Death Rocket comes in. That's not going to do enough either. And Legacy positioning really nicely.
Yeah, well, that was just what they saw in that situation. Team Passionfruit had it gone through and they'd done too much, or given up too much space to try and get onto Zed there. After that point in situation, they didn't really get out much of it because there was 3-on-2 and they still traded 1-for-1. That allowed Legacy the ability to position in front of them and cut them off and get another kill.
3K gold lead, the developing factor in this game. They're scaling into the mid-game. Pac-Man doing so well to prove that point. Zed proving his point that with a Last Whisper, you can do anything. And of course, Ryan, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, the ability to just walk through anything, the ability to critical strike on pretty much every second attack, the ability to do so much damage with that Boomerang Blade. That's Sivir.
Oh yeah, both Sivir and Gragas are huge at the moment. 408 at the moment for that Gragas. That is a fantastic score. 505 with 240 CS under her belt, the highest in the game. You cannot let her free auto attack. The moment she picks up that Last Whisper, there's not much Kodorai can do, and there's not much Na can do, even with all the armor they're stacking now.
And, I mean, there's not much you can do when you have a Gragas who's 4 for 0 for 8, and Cinderhulk Righteous Glory building into probably a Frozen Heart, I believe, or maybe the Randuin's Omen. We're going to have to wait on that one. Picks up a Sightstone just to be part of the team, and so does Cottery at the same time. We can now see that with the advantage of kills and gold, the farm advantage has increased as well. You've got 30 CS advantage for the Rise. You've got a 10 CS advantage developing for the Zed. A 50 CS advantage for the Sivir. it's just piling on. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but it looks like Passionfruit aren't capitalizing as well as we thought.
They managed to pick up a few things as well in the early game, but Legacy just too strong. They didn't take it to heart. They said, no worries, we can actually fight through this and we'll come out on top in the end. And now that they've hit that point in this mid to late game, they are there. The next thing to pop up on the objection list looks like they're making their way towards that top tower. Civ is not there though, but do they really need Civ at this point just to get control?
Not sure they do at this stage. Pac-Man can probably take on 2 people at a time. Ryan would help though, because if Cottery gets a good engage, a good unburrow, you're going to see a lot of things go wrong very fast for Legacy.
Yeah, but they have that disengage also from the Gragas as well. If anything happens too much, they're just going to throw it. It's supposed to cast down. Xiaomain's poke damage still very strong and nothing that you can scoff at the moment. Honoka catches Arteezy.
Arteezy is taking a lot of damage from Na, not to be underestimated. Half of Zed's health gone. Looks like this might be a deciding factor in engaging, but the Righteous Glory gets popped by Impaired. No one's with him just yet. The explosive cast comes in as the tunnel system gets pulled through by the Cottery. He's got them all going in and out, and a lot of things wasted building the intensity of this next team fight.
Chief Impaired thought he managed to pick up onto Xiaomain. There was a nice flash there after that explosive cast had been thrown out, and that's how she was able to escape the fight. But Pac-Man, he doesn't care too much. He's ready to throw stuff out onto Kochiro.
Remember, he's maxed his stun first, so he's going to have it again very soon. He uses it shortly. The Dark Passage comes through. Their sentence doesn't hit. The intensity riling up. There's no Righteous Glory for the Gragas either. Honoka, nothing much going to happen as I say that, though. The Body Slam comes in. Xiaomain so squishy. The Gragas barrel is there to receive it, though. He's aiming for Gragas, but he's going to get taken out in the process. Ryan in that backline untouched is doing so much work. The flash comes through. A double kill for the Sivir. There goes the Zed. A triple kill for the Sivir. Building up now. We see the Pink Ward getting taken out. If that was a quadra kill, we'd see it getting taken out. And of course, Pink Wards are not human beings. Not yet. That's going to be 4 for none. And this might be the Baron.
The Baron has been opened up now for Legacy. Chief Impaired saw the opportunity. He went in for it. A massive body slam. It hit 2 people. It started the fight that it needed. April Ryan just sitting there shredding people. He is now 8-0-6. The Gragas 4-0-10. And they have a Baron to boot. This game is going to be very hard for Team Passionfruit to pull back. They have a lot of damage control ahead of them.
What are you going to do when you can't touch the Sivir? Of course, there's a lot of CC, but I don't see any members of Team Passionfruit really hard engaging Ryan. He's doing so much damage, and with the Baron buff, how are you going to get past a Sivir, or how are you going to get up to a Sivir who's doing so much damage enough to be well and truly on their way to their 4th item? The last Whisper probably going to come out against a Jinx who hasn't finished the Bloodthirster yet, hasn't finished the Static or the Phantom Dancer, hasn't even got the Home Guard on the Berserker Greaves, which she should at the moment. Second Dragon goes to the Legacy, and Gold Lead just keeps on furthering.
Yeah, and with that now, they've picked up that crucial move speed. Chief Impaired's going back in again.
Oh, the Righteous Glory's already been popped, looking for a kill on Honoka. The Death Sentence lands, but Xiaomain has rotated quite nicely. This actually might be a pick for their team, but Passionfruit don't end up getting the Na ult. The Flay comes through as well. Ryan is now into it. Hasn't popped on the hunt just yet, waiting for the crucial moment. And as soon as Ryan came in, they were out.
They did not want to deal with that Sivir's damage there. There is so much coming on through from her. That was a 4-for-1 fight there. Rice didn't even really mind. He does have his teleport up at the moment, but he's like, no worries, guys. I'll just use my empowered minions here. I'll go to the top tower. You can handle the 4 of them, right? And sure enough, they definitely did. Team Passionfruit really need to engage, and the engage needs to be onto April Ryan. That's the main thing they have now. They're trying to get engaged onto him. That's the only way you can start it, straight onto him. Yeah. But the problem is that Chief Impaired, he's just making plays around the map. He's getting in there too straight away. 2 towers now fall in the favor of Legacy, and they're just furthering and furthering this gold lead ahead.
The Baron buff helping out so much. 2 turrets for nothing. This game has drastically gone the other way. It's now about an 8k gold lead coming towards for of course Legacy. And Honoka, he was looking so strong earlier now, has fallen off. Amazing.
Yeah, it's just one of the cases, and the thing is that, again, that Frozen Mallet isn't helping him out at the moment. It sure adds a little bit of tanky stats to him, and it gives him a little bit of utility, but the problem is he's not going to be as tanky. Imagine if that Frozen Mallet was a Thornmail. April Orion would think twice before throwing him from her own blades.
I mean, it'd be a Sunfire or a or Thornmail, you know these Nars, they like to heavy engage, they like to get amongst it, but with a Frozen Mallet, not as tanky as you thought, and cheeky Death Sentence comes through. They're not going to get the middle turret this time, but the Baron Buff doing a lot of work for Legacy.
Oh, so much work at the moment. And those Death Sentences by Nada just feel longer whenever he throws them out. I've never seen such good control on Death Sentence, almost hitting every single time, and if it doesn't almost hit, it lands.
And it lands more times than not. Impaired, gonna tank up this one if he needs to, but he doesn't at the time being. Traps hit, turret goes down, that's 3 turrets with the Baron Buff, and now that it's down, that's definitely worth.
Oh yeah, definitely worth. They've picked up a massive gold lead. They are now 3 towers ahead, 2 dragons up, and also 7 kills up. Now it's just a matter of waiting out to get that pick. They've got wards everywhere throughout the jungle. Now they're waiting for Team Passionfruit to make the mistake, to think they might have an advantage on that. 2 wards popping down for Team Passionfruit. They want to make sure they can see where Legacy's coming in.
And of course, there's an opportunity now for Passionfruit to capitalize on anything wrong that Legacy Genesis do. This is what they did last time. They turned a game around so easily. Well, made it look so easy. So whether they can do this again by picking their opponents wisely, going to have to keep an eye on these next 3 to 5 minutes.
The pressure is split up between them, and now they know Pac-Man's hit that point where he's able to 2v1, even take out the Nano Warriors, and it looks like they picked Jiao Main.
Oh, the damage that comes through, just not enough to finish it off, but it is enough to pressure it in. Pac-Man and Impaired gets flinged the other way. Looks like Passionfruit has split up a little bit. Coterie is looking for something, but they know when to get out. Legacy Genesis just going to pull back on this one.
I think they're not pulling out. They're going on the hunt. They are looking for that Gnar, seeing if they can catch him. Nada might have him in his sights, but that Gnar managed to do very sneaky stuff. He sort of walked in and out and juked his way from Legacy. But there isn't really much on the map at the moment. All they can really do is sit there and siege. Their main form of wave clear is Sivir. Hanaka just throwing, they've been a little bit sneaky onto Pac-Man, but there's not much they can really do. They don't have any of these champions that can siege really hard except for the Sivir, and that's only going to be a Boomerang Blade up every couple seconds or so.
Probably going to have to get some in-lane wards going on. If they caught Pac-Man just then, that would have been their opportunity. He was definitely very out of position, and with Mega Gnar coming in now, we actually might see an engage coming from Arteezy. Is the damage enough in Mega Gnar form? Probably not, but it could be enough if he engages to push back and get that middle turret and the inhibitor.
It's completely possible for these teams. And Janna's sort of thinking, maybe we can engage in this. No, I don't have my Mega Gnar. I do not want to get blown up by the Zed before anything even happens. The next thing they need to look for is the Dragon's up in 120, the Baron's up in 140. You're going to sit there and make sure the waves are controlled, make sure they're pushed up at all times, and then look to get one of these objectives. Once they have the Baron, they have the tools they need to break the base. Until then, it's just going to be a farm fest. Team Passionfruit are going to sit back and total up and try to get as strong as they can before the next onslaught happens.
Almost 11k in gold advantage. It's just getting worse for Team Passionfruit. They've got to do something soon. They've got to capitalize because the late game scaling may actually go towards Legacy in the end with that Rise, of course, the synergy between Rise, Gragas, and Zed. And of course, Sivir being so huge, it doesn't matter that you got a Jinx. All that you need to know is that she's going to fall out.
Pretty much. And also with this case, I mean, you have a 10k gold lead. At this point, scaling doesn't really matter. Maybe once it gets to that 70, 60k gold mark, that's when everyone's getting their fourth items. At that point, one person makes a misstep, someone's probably going to die. That's what you need to wait and see. But at this point, no one's finished their 4th item on the side of Team Passionfruit. While that's happening, it's basically a free game for Legacy at the moment. And that Baron is up in the next 30 seconds. They seem to have more focus there. There goes Arteezy.
There is Zed doing what Zeds do. Goes straight back to the shadow. There's the pick they needed. They're probably going to regroup with this one, and that was just a big mistake by Gnar.
Yeah, Gnar was thinking he had a little bit too much there to go through, a little bit more room. He did have the tower, but he didn't have his Mega Gnar form, and he's so squishy at that point. He doesn't have the bonus armor and 80 that Mega Gnar has. Zed saw the opportunity, he sprung, he pulled the trigger, and he took the Gnar out. This opens up a Baron for them. It's free. This was the throw Team Passionfruit was looking for, is perhaps to catch them at Baron with their pants down. That's not going to happen now.
Zed not even needed at this Baron bit. Doesn't look like they have any wards nearby either. So,
no
free Baron, quick Baron. Look at the damage going from Sivir. Not even blinking, and it's there. The Scrying Orb comes out, and the second Baron of the game for Legacy.
And meanwhile, that's all happening. Zed's like, no worries, guys. You guys get the big guy. I'm getting the dragon. It'll be fine.
Solo days.
Solo days indeed. And once that's taken out, once that's taken out, that's going to be, the crucial movement speed that they really needed.
That's going to be so much coming through. Their ability to rotate with that movement speed is going to be blatantly obvious, with damage coming through from Ryan, such as 1,170 crit on almost every hit. You probably don't want to touch this Sivir.
No, you definitely don't want to as well. They really need to make sure that Siege minion that's in power gets down quickly. And Team Passionfruit do have a lot of wave clear. They've got the Karma, they've got the Jinx Rocket, and they've also got the Gnar Boomerang. So that might be enough for them to get through and hold this off. But Legacy are just barreling down now. They've got a lot of time on that Baron, and that tower's going down fast.
They're looking for a turret, but it's only 3 of them in the middle. They're doing the classic 1-3-1 split with the Baron buff. Of course, get them empowered, get your wave slowly pushing, and with all the focus mid, that's where Team Passionfruit need to put their time and effort. If they can push out.
If they can push out. I don't think they can at the moment. Not with the empowered minions going through such good wave control by Legacy. They're just making sure everything is pushed out. Ideally what you want to do is have that sort of push out a little bit, and then what you do is you let it slow push in the favor of your minions, so then you have a massive wave to empower.
Gnar looking for something to sort of boost his morale at the time being. Zed's there. His shadow is close by. Don't think he's going to go in at this stage, but Arteezy doing so much damage. He's gone for the Black Cleaver as his third item.
Yeah, and now as well, there's a lot of contention in that top lane. Arteezy and Zed there. It's 2-on-2 there, 3-on-3 in the top lane. It's all a matter now of who makes the first mistake. There's 2 empowered minions there. Naka goes big.
And Gnar is big, so that's probably going to put a bit of pressure off of Arteezy's way for the time being. We see Arteezy, of course, he's got the Quicksilver Sash is the word I'm looking for. His explosive cast goes in. Don't think it's going to do too much, but top lane, boom, there it goes.
And the shell has been cracked. Legacy have finally got what they needed. They've managed to take it out. They will get the inhibitor now, and that really opens up the map for them. There goes the bottom one as well.
The base is well and truly broken here. Zed trying to slow it down, but Impaired is the one getting slowed. Pottery, misses the Umbarica. Zed goes straight back to the Shadow. Going on Rainy, doesn't have the damage to finish it off. No one's going to die there, except maybe Impaired as well, as the rest of the team are here looking for something. Gnar puts them back into the base. They think that's where they should be going. Ryan is now getting targeted, but his damage is just so huge. Even Gragas is doing this. Rice has already teleported in, doing the damage himself. Ryan with the critical strike. Oh my god, it's so disgustingly brutal, and it looks like the base being broken. 3 members down. We could see an end here. April
Ryan is huge at the moment. They thought they had found that advantage that they needed to take a team fight when they managed to pick up Arteezy, but unfortunately for them, Chief Impaired was there to party. The damage onto Rainy is amazing. She was deleted from the map. Hooks for days.
That damage at the end from Pac-Man, from Rainy, was just so incredibly huge. How do you destroy something that can't be killed? All I can tell you is the fact that one mistake was made by Team Passionfruit, capitalized by Legacy, and that's all she wrote.
Pretty much in that situation, that was all she wrote. Legacy did an amazing job to make the comeback. They took their time in that mid game, and the moment that team fight was unleashed upon them, they took that and they rolled with it, taking Dragon's objectives across the map.
And we didn't say anything about Pac-Man picking someone who was going to be the hyper carry, more players that he picks for his own team. Legacy Genesis are known for having a fantastic team composition, and this game was no difference.
No difference at all. And Legacy really showing they are the crowd favorites for this competition as well. Team Passionfruit tried their best. They played a very good game themselves. They were looking great at the start, but Legacy, they were just too good this game.
And this was one of the best games we've seen in the open line. So make sure you join us, because this is a best of 3, of course, against Legacy and Team Passionfruit. Make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.